Welcome to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, aka a guy who doesn't really handle Two Giant Episodes premieres pretty well. Basically, what I'm going to open this up with is say, oh my goodness, I listened to the episode from last week, and I was so pumped about like the first episode. I kept writing through the second episode, but I didn't talk about it on the show. And then when I saw we were over time, I just ended it. I figured I covered everything, but like the main plot line of like this story going forward, I didn't talk about. So I just have to go back and just say what last week kind of the big beats were of that I didn't talk about. And the main one being is this superhero guy. He's got his tiger claw. I forget what his name is exactly, but he pretty much witnesses a guy getting mugged right on the subway, and then he intervenes, and you can tell these are bad people that are doing the mugging, and the guy gets away, but our guy being the hero doesn't, and it turns out to be police officers, and one of them gets like accidentally hit by the train. The guy did not do it to him. So this whole episode is about Matt finding him. He was in the courthouse and heard him through his super hearing. The way that's exemplified in this show is my favorite. And he heard that he was getting beat up by the cops in the interrogation room. These guys are trying to kill this guy because he knows too much. And they're trying to throw him under the bus for that murder when that's not what it was at all. So this is really like tingling Matt's I gotta help superhero senses are kicking in, even though it's been a year since he's given up the mantle of Daredevil. So basically the whole episode he's trying to find this witness, the guy that was saved by our other guy. And I know we'll know the name. I'm not doing a Google because I want to get through this so we can talk about today's episode. However, I have to address this because I rewatched the episode today and I didn't remember talking about most of it. So I figured I'd come on here and just give you a little pre-episode recap. And the thing that's crazy, the craziest thing that I didn't bring up is, Matt is tailing people. He's doing investigative work, but he's under the cover as blind Matt. He is blind. But he, as you know, if he wanted to, he can walk in the street with his superpowers. He sees the world through a lens in which can only be imagined. Some would say he sees the world on fire. He said something like that, but a little bit different. So Matt gets to this place just in time because they're trying to bang down his door, the corrupt cops, the witness that they were beating up at the train station. So Matt gets there. Just in time, luckily, and right before the cops did, gets the witness out of the building, calls his friend to carry the witness to another safe place. He's going to meet him at the park or something. And Matt stays there, and he kind of gives them a smug look, saying, yeah, I got him out of here. And then they started beating the shit out of him. And you're like, what? Why isn't he doing anything? It's like, he can't give up his cover. He can't be these are police officers. This is going to be on record. So this blind guy can jump and do kung fu and karate and kick ass. Like, he's not really blind, right? Like, the whole thing would expose him to the fullest to everyone. So I don't know if the next part that was on purpose. Matt kind of crossed the line. I think he killed these guys. And what looks even worse is it's in this guy's apartment, the witness. It makes him look worse, makes Matt look horrible. What's Matt going to do now? That's where we left, and that's what Matt was screaming at the end. And also Fisk's influence is growing. The first time in this episode, we get to see this really old-time cop, and he knows Kingpin is Kingpin. And the way Fisk introduced the way he messes with people's lives, he pulls up above this Philly cheesesteak sandwich wrapper, and it's someone from this guy's family, and the guy's like, I'll stay around. I think I might have talked about that, but like that really hits. Like to think that guy's not going to play a role going forward is just crazy. And I have a feeling that the storyline with Daredevil, like, it's not just a one-off. Like, he didn't just knock out the cops. He's going to go. He's going to leave. He's going to put the suit back on is really what's going to happen. I think he's going to dive right back into the role. I hope it's tonight. We'll see. I'm recording this right before we watch. And I wanted to come back and tell you guys that I'm sorry if you were like, why didn't he talk about the end of the episode? And I think I was a little tired, a little overexcited, a little withdrawn because of Foggy's untimely demise. I was not ready for that at all. And that opening scene, it kicks so much ass in comparison to the rest of the episodes, to be honest, until the end of the second one. The action was light, but that's what they do with Daredevil. They build the stakes. That's why he's one of the greatest heroes now in the MCU, and why it was very smart of them to continue this story, because I think it's more powerful for it. 1 hour and some later. Okay, I just saw Daredevil Born Again, episode 3, The Hollow of His Hand. Wow. Okay, this was a big episode, a huge one, and it sets the stakes to show you where Fisk is at and where Matt is at. They are literally two ends of different worlds, honing in on each other. It's as if that meeting at the beginning was more of a prophecy of what's to come, because you can't keep these two apart. They're going to always oppose each other. So I have a theory, and I'm just going to say it now, and I don't think it's a bad thing. They fixed it. Okay, do you remember when they were talking about Daredevil, and do you remember that there was, I don't know if it was rumors, leaks, but I'm pretty sure it was true. Because they rewrote the whole show top to bottom after the first take, and it wasn't going to be until the 4th-ish episode until he ever put the suit on. So what I'm thinking actually is the change they made was adding that big scene at the beginning of the episode to give you some Daredevil action, to remind you he is so a superhero that can literally travel with his nunchucks, and he's blind and he's amazing, and just to kind of let us have an awesome Daredevil fight. So I think they're back to like where we were in that script, to where maybe next week's episode 4, so that's when he'll hopefully put the suit back on, because let's be real, the end of this episode, we got to talk about this just for a second right now, because it's kind of the biggest thing. Is White Tiger getting murdered shocking, or is it the fact that it seems to be the Punisher at the end that killed Hector in cold blood after that whole episode? Let's break down how we got to that shocking moment. This was a very heavy, like I said, plot-driven episode, full-on legal battle. I don't know if we've really seen Matt in the courtroom like this, maybe since, was it him representing the Punisher back in season 2? I'm wondering and remembering if it was Matt and Foggy or just Matt. But I don't think they've really done a full-on court case episode, and I think it's kind of necessary for how the fact that Matt is a lawyer. We got to see him doing that sometimes, but it also plays into the bigger story of getting things done the right way, or getting things done with the mask on, because Fisk basically doesn't need a mask. He can go get manholes covered because he just says, break the red tape and do it. Matt is trying to put the persona down so the people in his life aren't in danger. Even in this episode, he was adamant telling Hector he can't be the White Tiger after this. And, as we know, he got proven innocent. He did suit up again against Matt's orders or words. I want to call them orders. A warning, maybe. He should have told him again. Because if he didn't suit up, I don't know. He might have still gotten murdered. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't have, because he would have been safe at home. So it's not a great feeling, and we definitely feel Fisk's influence at the end of this episode, and it's a good old feud between Matt and Fisk opening, and this is going to only really push Matt further, because he's on edge, and I think he's going to put that suit back on next week and start bringing some real justice to the streets, because the White Tiger apparently was the guy who filled in the void for Daredevil, and people are wondering where Daredevil went. It's been a year. So like I was talking about earlier, at the end of last week, Matt was in the witness's apartment. He got the witness to safety. Our good guy Cherry, who's turned into one of my favorite side characters. I kind of like his vibe. I like him in the world of Matt, and how he helps, and how he knows, and how he found out on the roof that night. And he's kind of sticking with Matt. It's great. They're probably going to kill him on us in that case. Make us love somebody and take him away from us. And maybe a little bit like Hector here, who last episode I didn't really see as likable, because I've only seen that one little clip of him taking out somebody robbing a store. But to hear all the testimonies in this episode, it made for a great episode. As usual, I'm jumping all over the place. But we have to talk about this courtroom drama and everything that happened in there. That's where the episode was centered. Matt's key witness, though, does get to court, and he almost doesn't make it. They're trying to kill this guy on every angle. This guy's terrified for his life, too. So when Matt finally gets him in the courtroom, it looks like he wasn't going to get him there. He was running late. The guy crashed under the pressure and lied and said he wasn't there and he was at home or something like that. And it made Matt look really bad, and he had to withdraw the witness. And this pushed Matt to expose Hector as the White Tiger. And that was a really big move. And the court went crazy. And the judge was mad. And let's give some credit to the actors. I love the judge. He was brutal. And I also love the lawyer on the other side. I mean, he was a good antagonist, I guess we call him, for the episode. One of the biggest moments for him, it was very disturbing because Matt was winning in a way for Hector because he had maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 testimonies of Hector going into flames and saving people's lives as the White Tiger. And everyone knows about White Tiger because he's all over the news and he's kind of the hot thing right now. So this really is going good for Hector. You could feel it. You could see it in the room. And then our lawyer, he kind of like rips the whole scene down because it was his turn at the end. And he goes through telling us and directly to the jury, very close, looking them in the eye, what it's like to die getting hit by a train, which I didn't fully know. And if this is true, this is terrifying, that all their bones break and then their intestines are shrunk and you turn into a balloon. And when you live through this and you're living and you're living and you're living until they pull the train back off you, it's a horrible death. Very, very gruesome. I mean, the way I just said it was pretty much how he said it. And it makes me sick to the stomach thinking about it. And it makes you also be like, oh no, now they're going to definitely, he won the jury over, but no, he didn't. The people didn't. I think the people took it as I did. They were disgusted. And, I think the fact that there were so many testimonies was really powerful because it shows that while Mayor Fisk and some people might not want the vigilantes, but for the most part, it seems I love on these, appearances of the regular people between scenes, just their take on the situations. Somebody I saw mention somewhere, it's kind of like the cutaways in Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire talking about like the situation. And there's a lot of people who love the heroes, and I'd say that maybe they outweigh the bad people who don't like them. I'll say the bad guys, but everyone has their point of view. It's a very complicated thing, and it's not just black and white, like it's even said in this episode. It can be looked at in a lot of ways. So being a hero, I hope Spidey's okay right now. I hope Spider-Man's all right. He needs to be in this story. We need to see him in that ground level movie everyone's asking for. I think Marvel knows by now that people want to see that movie. They may make us wait. I'm hearing about Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Like, I'm not even hearing anything about the current season this week. Everyone's talking about Season 2. This person will return in Season 2. Punisher will return. Foggy and Karen. It's like, why? Why would you say Foggy? Why? Is there something you're not telling us? Okay, if you really want to know, there's a comic book reference in the beginning of the last episode. I'm not going to say anything else. It's a number. That number leads you to a comic book. That comic book tells you maybe a little bit where the story might be heading. That's all I'll say. Let's talk about Mayor Fisk for a bit, because while he wasn't the highlight of this episode, he was definitely the big bad on the outside. And he eats his healthy little breakfast every day to explain his weight loss. Good for Vincent D'Onofrio. Not great for us. I want to see him big and bulky and fat again. I wouldn't wish bad health at all on the actor. And I definitely would expect him to just beef him up with CGI or a pillow or something. And I want him to take a super soldier serum so he's a bigger, harder threat to fight, because we've seen him fight since Daredevil season 1 and he's gotten beaten every time. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I actually maybe would be, because I don't hear anyone ever talking about this, but if you're going to bring Spider-Man in on a Fisk Daredevil movie, it's going to have to be pretty, I don't know, like the street forces are going to, like the army of gangsters and gangs, kind of like the Spider-Man game, would probably be the biggest threat to them, because Fisk, the final fight, if he's as strong as he's always been, maybe a little bit stronger because he's a little more toned now, if he keeps going that route, we're going to see Daredevil and Spider-Man get to him to fight him, and he's not going to be a hard fight. And he's being talked about as like the Thanos of the underground New York superhero scene. So he needs to be a little bit more powerful. I think. Is there any other way he can gain superpowers? Yes. We're in a superpower world. He might take that amulet from the White Tiger, which he did put on as he was leaving. So maybe the Punisher grabbed it and brought it back to Fisk, and maybe it does hold some type of power that maybe will make Fisk stronger. I did see the Punisher's symbol on somebody's tattoo, and it wasn't the Punisher. What I'm thinking is going on from the trailer. We see the Punisher in the trailer. I didn't see season 2 of the Punisher. I'm not sure how many of you did, so I don't know really where we left him there. However, it seems to me that there's like a cult, maybe, like that he inspired, and they're all kind of acting as like a cult of like the Punisher. Because I don't think it was him at the end. It could have been. It's definitely hinted, and it wants you to think that it was the Punisher at the end. But because he's donning his new look at the end of the last season. I know this because I've watched recap videos, you know. I'm still planning on watching The Punisher, and I think maybe I can get into it this week, but it takes a while to watch. It's 13 episodes, and I want to keep my head in the Daredevil game, but at the same time, kind of a relevant show to watch right now. So, I think The Punisher is going to play a pretty big part over the next few episodes, if not the whole rest of the season. This is a long show. I don't know if they're doing 9 or 10 episodes. I did say what it was last week, but I'm not sure now. If it's a tighter, more cohesive, is that the right word? If it's a better show for making it shorter, cool. If we don't see Matt in Daredevil suit next week, we know for sure that they rewrote the beginning, gave him the action, killed his best friend, so we can get through the parts where he's building up to get back into his suit. So we do have to go a few episodes for that. The thing that teases me the most is that part in the trailer where it shows all those colors of suits. I wanted to see him in multiple suits. I don't know why I'm so invested on that. I want to see him in all his variant suits. That's like me when I play the Spider-Man games. I just like switching them up. It's a little too much. Takes you out of the story. So yeah, this whole episode was about redemption. And it really was meant to make you feel like, man, the bigger system's really getting Hector. Like they're eating him alive, and we know he's innocent. So it's kind of sad. And Matt couldn't be any better lawyer. Outing him as the White Tiger was the best and worst thing he ended up doing for him. I think Matt figured that he wouldn't go back to being a mass vigilante when everyone knows his identity. I wouldn't personally think I'd get shot like that my first night back out being a superhero. I don't know if he's lying about his amulet either. Like what's going on with this amulet? What's it do? Because every time he wasn't wearing it, and Matt said you weren't wearing it that night. And does it really give him power, or is that just like a made up thing to give the people like a hope, a hero, like a Harvey Dent? Will people be upset about this death? The people of New York, will they be seeking justice for who did this, or will it be Fisk spinning the narrative and saying for some reason it should have happened, maybe even framing him for like another murder or something like that. Fisk wants to get rid of this guy and all vigilantes, including Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, anyone who's a vigilante. Even if he maybe hired the Punisher, he's going to turn on him. Fisk is dirty. He's good at playing the game. He's good at playing the long game. There's just trouble in paradise for him because Vanessa's upset, and it's for good reason. I mean, the families or the gangs, they're not getting along, and she sent somebody to tell one guy what the other guy owed, like $1.8 million, because she wants to keep everything fair, and nobody respects the fact that Fisk isn't there. So Vanessa's trying to convey to Fisk that the Empire's not doing so great right now. And Fisk doesn't really see any good reason to get in between the infighting of all the chaos and the families and the gangs. He says, let it restart, let it reset itself. I thought that was pretty interesting. He just wants them to get rid of each other. Actually makes sense since they have no respect for him. But the police do. And Wow. I really think that Fisk is going to win. Like this season, he's going to win. Like he's going to beat Daredevil, and he's going to be mayor, and he's going to get what he wants. They shouldn't have kept calling him the Thanos. He's going to run through the city and make it oh my God, a corrupt, very corrupt and horrible place. I'd say I don't like that the show's pushing political agenda, but I don't think it really is. Because I mean, Disney never does that. I feel like at putting real politics into their stuff, a little brainwashy, a little, I don't know, not really above board in my opinion. However, this show's been in the works for years. This has nothing to do with the fact that whoever's running what office where. This is about Marvel, so I can definitely appreciate that there's no like direct jabs in one direction or another. I mean, the character of Fisk kind of speaks for himself. Like he is an exaggeration of what is capable to be a mayor, and he is corrupt as could be. He almost had me fooled at the beginning of the episode when Matt said you're gaming the system, and he is. But he's putting his. It seems like he's lost sight of Vanessa's meaning and how important she is to him. Maybe he doesn't like that she's running the company. I don't know. He would have done anything for her, but now that he has her, he wants more. Obviously, so he goes and gets the mayor, and he kind of writes off Vanessa. I think we're going to find out that Vanessa might have had some part in what happened in the beginning of the first episode. There's a lot to answer there. I also find it kind of sad that Karen and Matt aren't really like on any talking terms, because of what happened. And I honestly think that it just confirms more to me that they weren't in this script, and they filmed that and then they went on to use the meat of what they filmed. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't know why I'm calling it out. I don't normally do things like that. I'm actually just captivated by the show. So I'm a very, curious person. So I can't help but wonder, So the ending of the episode, after all the power, let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff Matt went through in this episode. I thought Matt was going to be up for murder in the last one, but I guess the cops were okay. And that other cop, one of the cops who's kind of like the main face of this, who brought Hector in and whose partner died, he tries to intimidate Matt in the bathroom, but Matt just comes back at him so fierce, like he really is good at talking to people. He's a great lawyer. And that's why, honestly, I do like this episode. I'm not mad that he's not Daredevil in this episode. He's Matt Murdock, who is also a main character, and we needed to see more of, to have a ground base level Matt Murdock. We've seen him in action. We know how good he is. He turns the whole case around. He got Hector free. The jury convinced them. That lawyer's mean old speech didn't do anything, even though Matt lost his main testimony because he was so in fear for his own life. Matt is going to react very poorly. He's not going to be happy that Hector was killed. He's going to be mad at him for putting the suit on, but in all fairness, I mean, he shouldn't have put the suit on and went that night. Maybe he should have waited like a week, but maybe he did. The point is, the suit's coming back. I want to see Matt fighting crime. I want to see him in the Daredevil suit. I want to see him defying Fisk moment after moment, making Fisk look bad because he can't get Daredevil because he's too good. And it keeps making him look worse and worse. Look, this episode was massive, and we probably won't get too many more like it, considering Daredevil's also a superhero. We're not going to say it's not just a court show. They make a lot of jokes about that in She-Hulk. It sets up so much for the future, though. Punisher's return, even though we saw his symbol on somebody as a tattoo, we're going to figure more about that very soon, I feel. Fisk's tightening its grip. He's even going to be like more brutal than he ever was because his powers already getting to his head. Where do you think this is heading? MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. Whose side is the Punisher really on? Is he innocent? What are your thoughts of this episode? And I have an announcement to make. Starting today, Marvel Maniacs Patreon is up and running again. We have 3 tiers. Get any or none, but it really helps support the show. And I'm really excited to do it because I'm going to be doing some mini-sodes. I'm going to be letting the audience vote on which episodes I'll do, like in terms of what movie I'll cover. Or And it's just a great way that we can start building a community, and I can keep doing this as long as I want, because I love making these episodes. I love being here, and I love Marvel. So it's patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Sign up. I think you can even check me off and make me a free subscriber. I don't know. I'm learning how it works. But you can sign up and join us today, and it'd be great to see you there. I want to build this community in the right way, not like Fisk, not on top of bodies, but on top of maniacs alike. Marvel, Maniac, an MCU after show brought to you by no one. The White Tiger was a great character. I like what he stood for. I think he's a great catalyst to get Matt back, destroying all the injustice and all the corruption that's going to be feeding the streets of Hell's Kitchen in New York this season. I'm like, don't even know where it's going to go, and I know it's going to be good because I'm enjoying every little minute of this show. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com, or I don't know if you can comment in Patreon. You can comment in there too. Patreon.com/MarvelManiac. We're on all your socials. What podcaster do you listen? Give us a good rating. Let us know. We'll definitely answer your email on the show. We'd love to talk to you. You know, I'm not going to read every email. If there's like a weird one in there, I probably won't read it. Don't be that one. Be a good one. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about this season. I think this is going to bring it in a very dramatic direction. There's a rumor floating around that I don't even want to talk about. And I think it's what's going to happen, so I'm not going to say it. I'll talk about it when it happens, if it happens, maybe. Or just might be trying to mess with us. So I'll tell you later. This is going to pay off, but I ain't going to say it now because I consider it as so true it could be a spoiler. Anyways, this is, again, good episode. Somehow, without even having to have Daredevil be the hero Daredevil in it. 2 in a row, he is put down the suit. What will he do next week? I don't know. We are all wondering. And I will be back Friday. I don't know what I'm covering there yet, but it's going to be something fun because Friday's the fun day. Wednesday's the usual. Well, they're all fun. But it's like the new show or the show we're covering on Wednesdays. So the current schedule is 12 a.m. Wednesday night and Friday, 6 a.m. in the morning, Central Time. I am Mayor, Mr. Honest. I'm not corrupt. I actually want more vigilantes. We call them superheroes, actually. And I'm still holding out on that Tom Holland Spidey. Just any bit of a cameo, it would be amazing. They could do it. Do it. They're not going to do it. They could just put somebody in his suit and say it's him, but I don't think that would mean as much. That would actually suck. I'm done. This episode's good. I can't end it because I feel so bad about how I ended the last episode. I'm like making sure I'm not missing anything. I'm pretty sure I touched on everything. Is there something you wished I mentioned? Do you want to talk about it? MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. I know I've been over saying that. We'll see you on Friday, and until then, Avengers, disassemble.